Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Team Daddy Weekly Recap. I am your host Shapiro the Hero, aka Daddy Dreidels. Week 7 is in the books, which means we are officially halfway through the regular season. The temperature is dropping, the leaves are falling, streaks are streaking, and one team just can't seem to catch a break. As always, I'll take you around the league looking at scores and standings right after this word from our sponsor. This week's sponsor is Enron. Perhaps the most famous energy conglomerate in the country, Enron is a leader in the natural gas, electricity, and pulp and paper industries, if in name only. Of course, we all know that Enron went bankrupt in 2001 after one of the biggest accounting fraud scandals in U.S. history. Today, Enron still has thousands of shareholders who are stuck with worthless stock because the company can't even do bankruptcy right. Enron. We're back? We'll kick off this week's recap with a high-profile matchup of two boys in blue as Steve took on Armenti. This one lived up to the hype as it was Armenti coming away with an exciting victory, 173.6 to 145.2. Matthew Stafford led the scoring for Armenti with 39.2 points, and Armenti also got 29.8 points from Jordan Addison. It was an overall balanced attack from Armenti as only 4 players on his team scored less than 18 points. For Steve, it was Jalen Hurts leading the scoring with 40.3 points, but it was not enough to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. After rattling off 4 straight wins to start the season, Steve has now lost 2 of his last 3 matchups, falling to 5-2 as we reach the midpoint of the season. He will try to turn things around in a Week 8 showdown against George. Meanwhile, Armenti gets back in the win column and improves to 4-3. He will try for back-to-back wins next week when he takes on Josh. Speaking of Josh, he had a big week himself this week, putting a smackdown on Brett by way of a 196.6 to 82.75 ass-kicking. Quinshawn Judkins led the way with 31.4 points, and Josh also got 29.1 points from Daniel Jones. For a team needing a bounce-back game, Josh got a statement victory, putting up the second most points in the league this week. On the other sideline, Brett was led by Stephon Diggs with 15.4 points, but I wonder if his team knew who their manager was and collectively decided to just shit the bed for all our sakes. Nevertheless, Brett is now 4-3 and will have plenty of time to get us 2 weeks worth of Brettville weeklies. Yeah, we're still waiting, while he licks his wounds after this one. Brett will try to get back on track next week when he faces Jed, while 3-4 Josh will go for 2 in a row when he takes on Armenti. Turning now to another perennial contender, Zach doubled down on his Week 6 performance with a dominant win of his own this week as he defeated George 205.9 to 146.15. Zach was led by Jahmyr Gibbs with 48.8 points on Monday night, and he also got 36.9 points from Keenan Allen. Zach also took home $20 for having the highest scoring team of the week this week, showing that while he may have stepped away from the top of the standings for a minute, he never really left. As for George, he was led by Jamar Chase with 47.1 points, but ultimately drops his second in a row. Now at 3-4, George will try to stop the bleeding and get back in the win column in Week 8 as he takes on Steve. Meanwhile, Zach improves to 5-2 and takes back over first place by virtue of points scored. He will try to extend his winning streak to 3 games when he faces off against Kyle. Speaking of Kyle, this kid just can't seem to catch a break as he loses yet another game by less than a point, this time falling to PJ 163.5 to 162.9. It was Dak Prescott leading the scoring for the commish with 34.9 points, and Trey McBride chipped in 30.4 points as well. Despite leaving 20 points on the bench, PJ did just enough to earn his second win in a row. As for Kyle, he was led by Jonathan Taylor with 37.7 points, but might go down as the unluckiest player in Team Daddy this season, as Kyle has now lost back-to-back games by a combined total of less than a single point. At 2-5, Kyle will try to get on the right side of these close games as he starts off the second half of the season with a Week 8 matchup against Zach, while 3-4 PJ will go for his third win in a row next week as he and I will face off. As for my team, I also can't seem to stop losing as I fell to Big John this week, 133 to 122. Patrick Mahomes led the scoring with 35.1 points for Big John, and he also got 22.6 points from T. Higgins on Thursday night. Despite a 0 from Mike Evans and next to nothing from Cooper Kupp on Monday night, Big John was able to escape with a hard-earned victory. As for my team, I was led by Devontae Smith with 44.3 points, but a big fat 0 from George Kittle in his return just didn't help at all. Now at 2-5, I need things to turn around quickly for my team or I could be in big trouble in the second half of the season. I'll try to start digging myself out of this hole in a Week 8 showdown versus PJ. Meanwhile, Big John is now 5-2 after 3 straight wins, currently holding the distinction of being the league's hottest team. He'll try to keep things going in a Week 8 matchup against Swans. Speaking of Swans, our final matchup of the week pitted a struggling Swans against a resurgent Jed, with both teams trying to stay relevant. And after the final whistle, it was Jed who emerged victorious, beating Swans 189.05 to 151.35. Bo Nix led the scoring for Jed with 45.75 points, and Jed also got 30-point games from A.J. Brown and Jackson Smith-Njigba. After punishment last season, Jed seems hell-bent on getting back into the playoffs and appears to be in good shape to do just that. On the other sideline, Swans was led by Christian McCaffrey with 50.1 points, earning him $10 as the week's highest-scoring player. However, despite the big number from CMC and a strong showing from CeeDee Lamb, Swans drops his 4th game in a row despite outscoring 5 other teams this week. As we all know, that's just how fantasy goes sometimes. Now at 2-5, Swans will try to turn things around in the second half of the season, starting with a Week 8 showdown versus Big John. Meanwhile, Jed is now 4-3 after back-to-back wins and will try to keep it going next week as he takes on Brett. Here are the Team Daddy standings as of Week 7. Zach, Steve, and Big John are all at 5-2, separated from the top by less than 100 points. Next up, we have Jed, Armenti, and Brett all at 4-3. Behind them are a trio of 3 and 4 teams, with PJ and Josh currently in the playoffs and George out based on points scored. Finally, we have Kyle, Swans, and myself, all at 2-5. As we move to the second half of the regular season, things are sure to get very interesting very quickly. With the league reset next year, there is really not much sense in trading away draft picks, so even those of us way back in the pack who'd normally be considered sellers can still make a late run. Also, with no international games for the next few weeks, it's going to be nice to be able to sleep in and not have to worry about making any roster changes before breakfast on Sunday morning. But remember to still set your lineups, keep an eye on the waiver wire, and monitor those injury reports. Thank you as always for watching. This has been your Team Daddy Weekly Recap. I am your host, Shapiro the Hero, and I will see you next time. L'chaim, motherfuckers!